Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Saturday Smackdown for the week 27th of September 2014. This is game number 4 in the best of 7 series played between Aizamk and Boneng for this event. It is a weekly event, Saturday Smackdown. The clue is in the name here. We are on the map Patagonia, spawning in the north of the map. In the colour red, we have Boneng playing as the British here. There he is, spawning with 3 wood crates, not too bad. That is the maximum amount of wood you can get as British, and 2 food. Definitely very nice. You always want more wood, especially as British. Definitely means more manor houses. Certainly makes the early market a lot easier. But, you know, we've had a discussion on which of those 2 is better. But that's not the point. In the south of the map, in the colour blue, playing as the Portuguese here, we have indeed Aizamk. What do you think of this matchup, Zuta?
I think in most standard situations, Brits are fairly favored in this matchup combination, but that's not to say that this game will be standard, because if we've seen anything from...
No, far from it. We see a trading post. Sorry to cut you off, but that is something Aizamk does that Portuguese usually does not.
We've seen both Sips making a trading post. In fact, Boneng's got a trading post of his own coming up.
Oh, wow.
I'm curious to see what that'll. I think we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see some Boneng shenaniganry with like the multiple docks at like 4 minutes here. I have a feeling. I have a feeling we're gonna see like an early 3-ville schooner or something like that. Something that's.
Yeah, Boneng style water is. I think he's almost patented his style on water. The industrial age, certainly with Portuguese, maybe with other civilizations, but. Early trading post. This is interesting. I'd say especially for, well, for either really. I mean, what does this sort of indicate for Portuguese? I mean, certainly we do not see ports collecting any wood here. He therefore, you know, is intending to go up to the colonial age on 10 population. He has all of those villages in queue and will just rush up with this trading post, meaning he'll have lots of shipments available throughout the colonial age, especially as soon as he hits colonial, since you do not send a shipment as Portuguese in age 1. What's he going to do with all of this XP?
This is the A's style. He does this 10-10 build.
Eating the sheep to go up even quicker.
Yeah, and I think we'll just see a forward town center placed. I mean, certainly A's knows just as well as we do Boneng's tendency on water maps to play like 4-dock type style. So if he can get that town center in a nice spot over here somewhere on the right-hand side of the map and secure the coast, can really cut down on the efficiency of the potential water boom that the Brit player could do. So I think we'll just see some aggression, some sort of containment. Obviously, this map doesn't have a high number of hunts, and we can see Boneng is currently hurting, but you know, there is quite a bit of exposed hunt here. So yeah, as you mentioned, the 2 villagers going forward, I think we'll likely see the town center come to a forward position here. And I think we're just going to see the point of conflict over this hunt in the right-hand side of the map and the water in general.
There's not much hunt. Like, if he pops a forward rack down near this market and house, I mean, obviously it gives sort of line of sight. Boneng will have line of sight due to those buildings in that location. But if Aizamk can, like, you know, put a forward town center and a barracks on this hunt here, that sort of denies Boneng the map and could make it really difficult if he hasn't got another source of food. Of course, there are berries there, and maybe the water will come into play. Who knows? But from Aizamk, I think we're likely to see, you know, obviously the containment style that you said. I definitely agree with you 100% there. I think this forward town center, first shipment will be 700 food, something like that, with which he'll use to train units. And then, of course, just as that town center hits up, his second shipment, 8 crossbowmen, will arrive at it. And, you know, he's going to have lots of units out really, really quickly just to, you know, contain his opponent, force him off the resources.
Yeah, I mean, I reckon we'll see 700 wood first, just because in general he's not chopping that much wood, and he's going to need some wood at some point. I think that would be fairly standard. What is Boneng doing? Boneng's not aging.
No. Oh, he sent 3 villagers followed by Virginia Company, perhaps looking to. Is he not got any food at all? He's not aging. He's collecting wood. Perhaps now.
Oh man, this is gonna be wild.
Oh,
he's got like 8 manors already. I just didn't realize, like, he's just manoring the whole map.
my lord!
He's not even close to aging.
What? I saw them do this in PK Clan Tournament 4, back in versus Gaia on the map New England, sort of similar to what Knight BR did, as you know, versus Aztec a couple of weeks ago. Boneng really did pull it off here. Just, you know, lots of manners. He went for a full 20 manners before going up to Colonial, and it was really like really interesting, and I suppose he feels comfortable doing it against Portuguese because traditionally Portuguese plays really boomy, and certainly that is the stronger thing to do as Portuguese. I mean, this game's been around for a while. People have worked out what the optimal builds are. What Aizamk's doing is certainly not that efficient, but because it's him, he's going to make it work, and I think it's going to be so strong against Boneng, who is staying so so early on in the colonial, in the discovery.
His wall can get completely up, and he can keep the crossbows from getting inside. That's certainly going to help him. But I think the Explorer there is just going to block him. I don't think the wall's going to get finished to completion.
No, I mean, forcing the villagers off, it's not going to go up. There is one villager still there actually building it, so he might be able to finish it up. Though if that town centre does notice it, he could put some villagers in that and snipe it down. This certainly does not look too good for Boneng, but if he can hold this, I'll be so impressed. This is... and it's possible. It's definitely doable. It just looks really tough right now.
There's a strong potential. Boneng may not age this game to the second age. I don't know that he's going to have enough food on his side of the map to actually age.
That's what a unlucky read, I suppose. I mean, up against ports, this sort of thing could be good. Certainly against like civilizations like Japan as well, it could be good, where you just like they sort of against boomy civs, I suppose you may be able to get away with it. But Aizamk playing ports so aggressively.
He had to gather quite a bit of berries and the sheep and stuff in his base. He is aging now, but like at what cost? I mean, he's at 24 pop, and there's like crossbowmen. I don't know. This is going to be awkward to deal with. Fortunately, one thing that can be said is he does have almost a full wall, just this one little location here forward that he does not have completely walled up. So he does know where his opponent is going to be coming from, and it looks like he's even trying to sneak some villagers in there to try and finish that wall up. But he's very smartly actually standing his Explorer right where the wall would need to go.
Yeah, clever stuff there. Gonna stop them from building it. Oh, now he's going away. No, coming back. He's gonna stand on it. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. He's definitely doing that with purposefully. Yeah. But you're right though. Aizamk did send 700 wood as his first shipment there. I was really expecting the 700 food followed by the 8 crossbows. It's just such a signature thing that Aizamk does. It's his Portuguese sort of rush.
With that low of wood count, you really need to send 700 wood.
Yeah.
Without sending 700 wood, you just wouldn't get any units or infrastructure up, really.
Yeah.
Generally.
Well, you do age with 400 wood, and you can use that for, obviously, a housing, and I guess, but you're right, 700 wood is definitely, well, ultimately it's a better shipment as well.
Yeah, just in general, it's really strong. And here we go, Boneng.
Anyway, lots of units here.
Boneng going on the dock. So let's make a prediction. When do you think Boneng will make his first military unit? I'm going to say 11 minutes and 32 seconds.
Oh, I think I'm going to go a bit later here. I've seen him, maybe not for this game, but I've certainly seen him like train his first unit at like the 16-minute mark or something. He did that again against Gaia in PK Clan Tournament 4. But here, actually, I think you're probably right. Maybe I'm going to say like 12 minutes exactly.
All right.
Yeah, that tower doing work against those caravels. I mean, Ace has accidentally lost his caravels before. In a previous game that we watched, but here, backed up by these musketeers, that tower should go down, and really this fishing economy, which Boneng has invested so much into, of course, schooners being sent, it's essentially a colonial age shipment that you're not having there, 700 resources, and really he's not going to be able to benefit from it at all. I think that dock's going to be forced down.
Yeah, and he could potentially consider building, a dock or two here in the middle pond just to try and get a little bit of economy going. I mean, he has...
That's true. There are some fish in there.
Let's see whether or not...
I think that might be what he's going to do. That village is going that way.
Yeah, it might do. You might as well throw 5 or 10 fishing boats in there and just eat up those fish.
It's just... this boom is so eco-heavy. 3 Vild, Virginia Company, exotic hardwoods, super wood upgrade, and schooners. It's just... It's not so good against... I mean, it would be good, normally, I suppose, against a Portuguese if it's played a bit more boomy. I think Boneng, comfortable, can probably get away with it, sometimes at least. But here, it just doesn't seem like it's going to happen. What can he do at this point?
Yeah, it's very hard. He did get the wall up, which is one thing I do want to mention very quickly, because that is going to stem the flow of units into his base. I don't know. I mean, I guess what he has to do here is rely on the fact that he has sent exotic hardwoods and schooners, which is a very strong combination, and he's just got to try and make up the difference in some sort of insane water eco, which is, I guess, all that he really can do. He did win the 2 Caravel fight, meaning that he is going to have water superiority as the game progresses. He
He's got those docks down.
have some docks down. He still has a trading post, so he has some things going for him. But at the end of the day, 22 villager population versus even just the 30 of like the aggressive playing Portuguese player is really not all that stunning at the end of the day.
No.
It's going to be very, very difficult for him to deal with, I feel.
Absolutely. Those 2 caravels that Aizamk sent really early on, in fact, as his second shipment, definitely forced Boneng off the water there, but I feel as if that tower may have done some work against the caravels, and actually, done a good job of actually managing to get himself back on the water. Maybe he can get this schooners and exotic hardwoods combination to work, and, this is Boneng. He's certainly a very good player, very capable, and we'll see what he's doing, but I think ultimately both players going with very gimmicky strategies, really. Both of them really non-standard.
Yeah, well, Aces is like his standard way of playing Portuguese, which I'm not convinced is the best. I think it's not bad, but I think just something fortress based like what we've seen, like maybe a Yumi or Musket JR do is maybe a little more sustainable as far as just generalness.
A bit more,
just a little more safe.
Yeah.
And, just feels a little more solid, a little more good. Certainly on this map, being able to control Boneng's boom. I mean, certainly if you were to straight FF or do some sort of eco FF with Portuguese on this map, and Boneng were to do this, you would probably run into a situation where Boneng had, I don't know, like 70 villager population at 8.5 minutes, and and then Portuguese is scratching his head like, what do I do now? So, I mean, you can see where there'd be merits. It was a bit of a guessing game, I guess, by both sides, trying to feel out their opposition. Yeah, and they just did it blind. And sometimes that's just how strategy games work. I mean, sometimes there's only so much you can do in terms of scouting, and sometimes you just have to pick with something and commit to it, whether or not it ends up being something that's actually good.
Yeah. Aizamk up to Fortress Age now, though.
Yeah, and that I would assume he has a frigate in his deck, which is going to probably rain terror. Yeah, he does have a frigate. I would expect to see that frigate card shipped. And I think that's just going to rain terror down here on the British player on the water. Just as he's finally starting to get some water established here, I think we're likely going to see it go back down the other way.
Oh, wow, British adding in his own dock. He doesn't even have schooners active. What? Yeah. I guess it's not bad. I mean, they're still 100 wood per fishing ship is not that great, but it's still like an extra villager, really. They're still going to, help him add in...
a little bit of extra ego. I also really like the positioning of the cover wagon here working its way up to the north side of the map. Just going to help secure off this left side of resources for Boneng. Going to pretty much guarantee that he's never able to use this gold mine, never use this hunt, which, when we take into consideration the hunt and the gold mines that are available for Boneng to use currently, are already fairly poor. So I do like that choice, and it looks like the frigate has arrived as well. So likely, maybe I'm going to see a second frigate coming here from Hayes, and this is going to
trained one as well.
Yeah, this is going to rain terror down upon the British Navy.
Unfortunately, though, Zuta, he did actually lose quite a lot of his musketeers there. I think maybe they got in range of those two caravels doing some work, and really not having the same mass that he did before to actually force the villagers off. He's actually going to get a villager kill there. Boneng now going to put them in, but ultimately he does have these two frigates, but which are going to absolutely do a lot of work over here, kill those two caravels, and certainly force all the fishing ships into the docks. But now the docks have a ranged attack. They are really good against the frigates, and he just does not have those musketeers that he had earlier to really siege down these docks from the land side.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little awkward, I guess, but at the end of the day, the one thing Boneng had going for him here was this fish. I guess he's kind of pushing back but does he have the resources to really remake his own?
Look at the villager count. he's managed to even it up. He could still get back into it from here. I mean, he is definitely behind in terms of score, but having, you know, these 2 frigates, yes, they're really good. They're really going to force him off the water, but they're not, like, if he just garrisons him in the dock without any pressure on the land, on the other side, really the boats can't get in there and do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, I guess to an extent, but I think we're just going to see A's. I mean, I think he knows the importance of the water right now. Now with the 2 caravels dead of Boneng, I don't know that Boneng can explicitly afford to remake caravels. And I think if he just adds in like either another frigate or just heals these up and just comes in with, you know, so much of a force on water that he just like smashes his opponent down, I don't know that there's going to be much of a recovery for Boneng. I think A's could even just, you know, use just those 2. Although while I said that, there are 2 more caravels that have been trained, so it looks like Boneng is keen to fight on water.
Yeah, he's invested in it heavily. Offshore support having been sent in, as well as improved warships. The card has just arrived, Zuta. Here it is, 5 Mamelukes. I just seen it pop up. Where are they? The things that are so disgustingly good. There they are, now coming in. Oh, I don't know. I love the Mameluke pops. I even have a shirt that says "Keep calm and send Mamelukes" that people have seen on streams, and it's certainly in one of my videos as well. But yeah, these are really strong. Anyway, I was going to mention that really all I suppose Aizamk has to do. He's got a decent economy at this point. Just mass up some units. And then, you know, can come in and force the dock down on the other side. But yeah, actually, some more caravels being added in.
Yeah, one more caravel being added in. I think this caravel's going to drop,
Yeah. There is, you know, he has rebuilt his land presence, though, and it's looking really scary.
I mean, how does he ever kill 5 Mamelukes with only villagers?
At this point, Boneng has resigned. He sees it. He can't do it. That is the end of the game. Rounding out game number 4. Aizamk taking his 3rd victory, this time as the British on the... No, as the Portuguese. What am I saying? As the Portuguese on the map Patagonia against the British there. I think just Boneng picking the wrong build. It's just... wasn't suited here, but really, I'm really impressed with the way he played that. He managed to, like, you know, come back so far from how behind I really couldn't have thought he was as a result of the bad build order. I think his gameplay in this was actually really good.
I'd also like it to be known that we were both incorrect. Boneng never actually successfully trained a military unit this game, aside from the caravels. So,
oh wow, okay.
So there is that, which you know, he actually has a lot of resources at the end of the game.
How long is this game? 15 minutes 36.
15 and a half minute game, and he didn't.
It goes to show how much you can just defend with.
Going to get to Discovery Age, to be perfectly honest with you. I thought we were going to see a situation where in one game he could have gone Imperial, and in one game he never even got out of Discovery. I was.
Yeah.
This is exactly.
What a series that would have been.
I was hoping the series would be.
Aizamk versus Boneng is just gonna. It just sounds promising. Both players very creative, and yeah, there is certainly that. But it just goes to show, you know, without military units, you can do a lot of defending. I mean, town centers with villages in them pretty good. Of course, caravels and just boats generally so strong against land units in this game that if you just build a fishing economy and, you know, kind of have your villages near the coastline a lot of the time, you can defend against military units of your opponent, and certainly is really strong port pressure. Without actually training many units yourself, but as wow, what an interesting game. I'm really impressed with Boneng's play from that. Despite it's just really that build order early on that I'm not too happy about. But I'm going to work my way out of this game. Any concluding thoughts, Zuta?
Just the next thing. I mean, just going to the next map. It's Painted Desert. So far, we've seen maps that are maybe a little less standard. I mean, Mongolia, Sag, Patagonia, Siberia all have like a little bit more of maybe a non-standard element to them, which is part of why I picked them. I think it makes them a little bit more interesting. I think everyone's seen like a billion and a half games on Great Plains, and that's why I just add it as, you know, the last map. Certainly Great Plains is a favorite of many people, but at the end of the day, I think we've seen like so many games on Great Plains. I'm not super keen to, you know, continue to play on Great Plains, and this is what I was hoping for when these guys both agreed to play. This was precisely what I was hoping for. So
yeah.